we're in a relationship doing business. How do we do it?
How do we?
Welcome back to the Digital Concierge. This is episode number 10, and it's going to be the final episode of our very first series. And I couldn't think of a better guest to close it with than somebody who's been here since day one, from the very conception of For Digital Sakes to every milestone since. He's the other half of the business and my other half in life, Thibault Selderlagh.
How can we work with the best of the best and then so that we have the credibility to work with anyone?
If you want success, I don't think balance is a word that comes into play.
If you like what you do on a daily basis, why would you force yourself to do less?
The hardest part about running our agency. Be sure to tune into this one as we get beneath the surface of For Digital Sakes. You are my 10th guest on the Digital Concierge, the podcast, so thank you for joining me. You're going to be the last podcast of this season, so I'm super happy to talk with you.
My pleasure. Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I do actually feel a bit nervous.
Do you?
I don't know why. So I think there's lots of things that we can talk about because obviously we're in a relationship doing business. That's always a funny one when people don't know we're in a relationship. So I think we can talk a bit around that. How For Digital Sakes came to be, what we see happening in the space. Starting with, how did For Digital Sakes become to be what it is?
So indeed, there's so much to speak about. So how did it start? We basically... So I used to be a creative. So I used to work in photography, video, and at some point we decided to travel. You had your job, I was still doing mine on my own. Then we traveled. Then we just wondering hey, do you think we can get a collab? Or actually, if you give some photo, some video, we could actually get to stay at that place or that place. And then I remember it was in France. Mm-hmm. You said, I think it was even you from my Instagram.
We were driving in the car.
I was driving. You were sending the messages, maybe 3 or 4 messages.
Because Tib has a good following on Instagram, whereas I didn't. So I was like, let's just try our luck. Let's see if anybody would collaborate with us. But we hadn't done anything before that. No. Actually, before that, you wanted to go at it alone, and I started building your pitch deck, your proposal deck.
Yeah,
do you remember?
You were helping me.
So one of the conversations before that was, if anything comes through, I'll give you 50%. I was like, I don't need 50%. I'm happy to help you. And I was consulting at the time. And then we had the road trip in France. And as you said, I sent 3 messages.
Yeah. I remember the 50%. I was like, no. I'll give you 50% so that you're motivated.
And we're still on 50%.
Yeah, we're still on 50%, yeah.
It worked.
For now.
So I wrote to 3 hotels. 2 replied. 1 replied straight away. And we just asked, we said, hey, we can create some videos for you in exchange for a stay. We're looking for 2 nights. And then they said, how about 3 nights? So you really get to experience it and throw in all dinners. And we were just like, wow, that was easy.
Yeah, it was such an amazing experience.
It was amazing.
Oh, there was something in this industry we liked.
Do we shout them out? Do we say who that first one was?
Yeah, of course. It was Wire.
It was Wire, thank you. Wire...
It's a domain.
And it was in Narbonne.
Yeah, so the France.
Beautiful, beautiful. So that was our first experience. And actually when we were there, they even extended it because they were so happy with what we were doing. So that was a really beautiful experience. So that was pretty much how we were born. And then I guess that gave us the first assets for our portfolio.
Yeah, and it's really what we learned along the way is you do one project that gives you the portfolio to actually leverage that to someone else, and then that from someone else, and you build that portfolio that then give you credibility. And then at some point we're realizing, okay, actually, do we want to do collab? No, actually, we want to charge for what we're doing. We have a strong portfolio now. And that's basically how it started. Yeah.
And I think building that portfolio, we got to a point where we knew our work was good. And even in the moment, I look back at some of that work and I was like, oh, that was a bit cringy, or it was a bit influencery. So we hadn't yet got to that level of content, but it just took the next person taking faith in us producing better work, then collaborating with models, you finding a different style because you were the man behind the lens and I sat more on the strategic, directive side, business side. And your work has really evolved. And then obviously we work with different people as well. So then that just starts to add more value to what we're doing.
Yeah, of course, the evolution was it's amazing to see still now, and like what you could get with that, and now you wouldn't even dare sharing what we used to share, and then it's just evolving all of the time. Yeah,
maybe we should share some that were right from the beginning. See if people noticed that was from us. And then how did we jump from working with somebody like Wire to then working with somebody like Bvlgari? Because that is quite a jump. They're both 5-star, but they're very different properties. Bvlgari is an esteemed brand. And we were, 2 years into business and we managed to start working with them?
Yeah, we started accumulating brands, I think, under our portfolio. And then at some point we were like, okay, one strategy that we had is, how can we work with the best of the best, and then so that we have the credibility to work with anyone? And I think that was a good plan. So we basically offered a free video to Bvlgari, saying like, hey, this is a gesture. It was not a collab, so we didn't stay there. This is a gesture of and a demonstration of our work. And
to be honest, about not staying there, we wanted to make sure we weren't being confused with influencers. So as soon as you enter into that exchange of we're creating a video for a stay, I feel that diminishes our ability to operate as an agency or anything other than an influencer, right? So we were like, we offer this to you for free. We won't, we didn't even need to say we're not staying. We just said as a gesture and to show that we can create good work that performs.
Exactly. That was important because sometimes when you contact people are a bit confused on what you are. So that was a good draw the line for we're a production company. We will do that for you. If you like it, you can always call us in the future for the project. And from that free video came a paid project a few months later.
But that arrived because that video performed so well. At that moment, Bvlgari didn't have their separate pages for each property. So it was posted on the global page, and we did our own observational analysis, and it outperformed 80% of the posts that had been posted in 3 months. So I think it was like proof in the pudding, as we would say.
In English?
In English.
British English.
Yeah, would you not say that? Proof in the pudding?
I don't think we have that expression in French.
What's yours? You have one?
No. I'm sure we do, but I'm losing my French.
Yeah, welcome to being in a mixed relationship where we're still educating each other on expressions.
Yeah.
But you're sounding more and more British, so I'm proud.
Thank you.
Okay, so Bvlgari, go back to this.
Yeah, so the free video came to a paid project, a small project, and production of few videos, and then that came to guys. We are taking pitches for an agency. We're gonna need an agency, and from one Bvlgari to another, we pitched to 2 of them, and then we apparently did a good job, and we landed those.
It's not bad. That was 2 out of 9 properties, so pretty good going. So would you say that was a good strategy for anybody that's starting out? Do you feel that giving up something for free? Because I think there's a lot of debate around that as a strategy.
I mean, 100%, in my opinion, is if you can show people value in that sense, or whatever skills you have, you can show them that you could actually help them in some way. That's the best way to show it. In our example, that was the most tangible thing, is to give a free video. So, yeah.
And we considered it an investment, right? Because there were times when actually, I think when we offered that, we flew ourselves, we paid for a hotel.
Oh, many times.
So there are so many examples that we have where actually our investment was more than just time on site. It was flying across the world, even for meetings. pretended to be somewhere to get a meeting. So
Yeah.
that is what we consider our investment, and 9 times out of 10 it pays off. So I'm proud of us for that, and would definitely recommend it to anybody that wants to get access. Or, you know, I have some messages in my inbox from people on LinkedIn where they want to transition from working for 3-star properties to 5-star. That would definitely be our recommendation, to offer for free until you can prove it, and then you have those tangible assets.
100%. People just want, if you can help people, like they will just take you up on the offer, and you also have to prove you offer, and in some regards, like giving something for free. If people don't want you free stuff already, it's not a good sign.
It says a lot.
It
Isn't
says
that Alex Hormozy that says that? Where if you can't give away something, then you need to reassess your business proposition.
Yeah.
So I think that's a good test, actually. So if there is not market demand for what you're offering, whether it's a style of photography, videography, how you do your branding, then that's something that you probably need to revisit. And it's also a really good way of us getting market research and seeing how somebody receives the work. And so for people that then don't know us, if there happen to be people that listen to this, what would you say we do as For Digital Sakes? How would you describe us?
So
Give me your elevator pitch.
we are a marketing agency focused on the full funnel user journey. We go from branding to content strategy to production as services. So I think that's like the shortest way to
The long and short.
yeah, to kind of give the full picture.
And how would you say we're different then to other agencies? Creative agencies, social media agencies, what makes us different?
Well, we specialize in hospitality and travel, and I don't think there is many agencies that first specialize mainly in hospitality and travel, and when they do, it will be more from aesthetic side. So there's gonna be a production company, they'll just create like nice assets, while we are studying the industry and understanding the user journey and the full funnel on, okay, how can we touch all of the touch point of the user journey and what to produce and what's like strategy wise. I don't think there is a lot of like combination of those agencies.
Yeah, I feel from our observations and now our few years in the industry, you seem to have strategic agencies, branding agencies, creative agencies, but even with the creative agencies, they might be doing a beauty ad one week and then a motor ad the other week. So us specializing in hospitality, we really get to understand the user journey for this industry, which of course varies depending on audience segments, but at least then each time we're working with a partner, we don't have to do a crazy deep dive to understand who we're talking to, and then we get to keep our fingers on the pulse, right? Because we see what's going on in the industry.
Yeah, and I think it helps a lot to have many clients in the same industry, in the sense that we see what worked with one client, that's other mistakes that's been done with one client, and then you can literally like correct it and advise another one, and then taking all of the lessons from all of this, the different brands in the same industry.
And so you touched on our focus on user journey and full funnel. Do you think that they are two terminologies that are received well in this industry when we're having conversations?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's still...
You think there's a good understanding?
There is a desire, I would say. What I notice is a lot of people are interested in it, want it, but when it comes to application, it's still not really being done.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, okay, we want a strategy and everything, and when it comes to actually like the service, they will go back to the basic need, which is we need 5 videos. Yeah. So there is a little bit of like that educational piece sometimes, but it's definitely getting more and more traction, I feel.
And I certainly feel that when it comes to that omni-channel approach, you know, when we're speaking with teams, we're speaking to sales, and then we speak to marketing, and then we could also speak to operations, and they really don't feel like they're in a circle holding hands with the same mission. They're all kind of doing their own separate thing, whereas in an ideal world for us, we would have that user journey for an audience segment. We would then be able to support them on, okay, so when you're in an awareness phase, this is when you can make a beautiful hero video. When you're in consideration phase, this is actually an asset that would really help your sales teams such as grand tours, you know. So as we go through this funnel piece, we have different team members that obviously need those different assets as well, but they don't seem to piece it together in that way. So I do think that's still a bit of a challenge for what we're doing and what we're proposing, at least.
We hear a lot from partners actually that work in sales and marketing. The people that kind of want to get further, like to go deeper, they really realize how much like hospitality rely on PR. And so some hotels will have 6, 7, 8 PR agencies.
So
and
true.
Then the budget is completely cut down for marketing, building a strategy, content, which PR has got its importance, but there's so much that can be done in marketing and sales, and which isn't really being done. So it's interesting on noticing the people who actually like take the lead on that.
Yeah. And I do see PR companies adding like a digital leg or partnering with other agencies because they're so trusted by hospitality. So I think that's a great opportunity. Again, when it's not done in a fragmented way, when it's not just ad hoc production or, oh, we're launching a new menu, we need some videos. It just becomes like piecemeal. So I think, that's definitely something for us to keep pushing in the industry, but at least we're getting very good feedback. And I would certainly say the way that we are steering our business is very much based on conversations, demand, observations. So maybe you can talk a little bit to how we came about one of our key propositions, which is grand tours. And so how did that come to life? Why do we do that for people that aren't aware?
Yeah, so Grand Tour, we noticed in real estate how those big villas were being toured, guided tour by like a presenter explaining.
Which we did spend some time in real estate.
Yeah, that's
we
also...
worked with some companies in Marbella right when we started.
We did have some experience in real estate too, and there is such a demand for that in the real estate industry. On like presenting exactly what you're gonna get and the little details and the story behind it, the designer, the architect, everything that's made a property. And basically hospitality is the same. People want to understand exactly what they're gonna get. And like instead of hopping from 10 platforms to TikTok to Instagram to the website to booking, a grand tour actually allows you to have like in one condensed video all of the informational pieces and a visual, while like with the storytelling, and give you a vibe of the place with information. So that's definitely something that I think has got a big future in.
Absolutely. And we were both surprised to be on property doing our own production. There's one time, it's a 50,000 a night suite, and there's a knock on the door, and it's a sales agent, and he comes in and he has a celebrities agent on the other end of the phone, and they want to have a walk around, and he walks around with his iPhone, and it's a 50,000 a night suite. So we were just like, wow, there is such a need for this. And obviously the beauty of creating an asset like that is you create it once and you're not creating it again until you're doing a renovation, which we know doesn't happen often. And you get the opportunity to storytell, which is how people want to receive content now. They don't want to drag themselves around, a Matterport 3D. I think there's a place for it. Certainly when it comes to accessibility, and people that really need to understand the space and the awareness and the accessibility essentially. However, for people that want to understand the stories, the amenities, as you said, the design, the architecture, you can't do that in static photography. You can't do that in a 30-second social reel. So this is a longer form asset, which again, when we're looking at the industry, they don't invest so much in long form. And we know that if a user is engaged in long form, they are more likely to convert. If they've spent a few minutes on your content, you have them hooked. Whereas we're in this swiping culture, the average person is scrolling more than an Eiffel Tower, which I know people were surprised by, but that's even an outdated stat. So I can't imagine what it is. I know I probably scroll 5 Eiffel Towers in a day, but
You do.
sadly, it's my job. But leaning into long form, I think, is also a great opportunity. So then looking at like mini series, mini documentaries for hospitalities, there's a great space there.
And YouTube is such an underrated platform for hotels. Some leading hotels are actually investing in it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking even like Belmond.
Belmond with their 60-minute pieces.
Yeah. So I think it's gonna, and YouTube is still growing, and people who consume long form content are so much more likely to convert than just a 20-second piece. You just swipe to the next video and you forget who you were actually watching.
Yeah.
So this is gonna be very interesting, and I think with a lot of concept now, the trends in hospitality. So you speak about regenerative travel or longevity. That those topics there is so much to talk about it. So there is such a narrative piece that can be created and a story behind it, and explaining how local artisans are being part of the hotel because they create the material that will be used in the hotel, and or like the small community are being built, and there is so much to be told, and YouTube, I think, and long form formats in general are the best to do that.
Yeah, and we probably see that a bit when it comes to personalities. So there's this rise of showing like the chefs behind the creations, and I think chefs are certainly getting their spotlight. And then we have, platforms like the World 50 Best, where they're doing a great job at shining a light on different profiles and personalities. So people do want to engage in this way, and they want to have those storytelling pieces. So I think it's interesting to see where the space is going to go. Obviously, there is an investment required, so hotels need to really factor this into their marketing. You touched on trends. So what trends would you say that we're keeping an eye on that we believe are worthwhile for hoteliers to pay attention to?
Personally, but that's personal, the longevity trend. I don't think it's a trend.
It's not
I think
a trend,
it's
is it?
some. It's a movement.
Movement is a better way.
That's going. That's about to stay in the time. I would say that's the one I really keep my eye on, and I see like many brands actually doing a great job already. Like developing that, and you see also like social clubs that are like popping up.
You're doing great.
Everywhere, and you see the high demand on people, the younger generation, drinking less alcohol and be more into the health. Sauna, ice baths, sauna raves we see now.
Yeah,
more
we
and
need to
more.
go to one actually.
Yeah, we should try that.
Because we do like testing what we talk about. I'm a big fan of that. Instead of just making these observations, I think because we care about it. So in some aspects, we are also the audience. So we can be the agency, but we're also the audience when it comes to at least like longevity, wellness, hospitality. There are certain things that we have an appreciation for.
100%. Running clubs also, I was thinking, is booming.
That's a really good one to talk about actually, because for me that shows a strong signal that there is a big community piece that's having its rebirth, because this has been booming for the last couple of years. I think you can go to any big city in Europe and you can find a midnight runners, like that's amazing. We have lots of friends that do it. We're not big runners, but they can go and there's easily 100 people that will show up, and might be at 6 in the morning or 8 at night, and they just have that desire to be part of something. So with that in mind, I do think there's an opportunity for hotels to dial into that community piece and to build a stronger world around their property, instead of just it being about a night's stay and heads in beds, it being more around this ecosystem of what do they offer, what can you experience.
100%, yeah. Actually, Sharon Parisha, the CEO of Ennismore, actually did a great job with that, with creating a community with, for example, Oxton or like
the
people.
The founder of Ennismore, just to add.
Yeah, the founder, yeah. Who people stay there for. Locals would go to the Oxton for coffee, for a drink,
even
for co-working.
Yeah.
So it's not about just an hotel. It's people actually interact. It's a community being built.
And you have to create that culture, because I think we certainly saw it when it came to like Bvlgari Resort Dubai with Ramadan. Like that was the place to go for Ramadan. So that is an opportunity to attract an audience beyond your night's stay. And I do think with longevity that's happening. If you can go to a hotel and they're going to offer you hot cold therapy or a sauna rave and you don't need to stay, then that's also a great opportunity.
100%. Yeah.
So longevity is one. What are your thoughts on social shopping?
Social shopping, it's massive and it's gonna be big, but I don't think I'm educated enough on the topic to have a strong opinion on like what people should do and how about you?
For me, it's happening, and it's one of those things that's going to happen with or without you. So if hotels don't get clued up on their searchability, on their AI discoverability, then OTAs are going to demand that space, which they already are. So, you know, we've been talking also then to talk a bit about AI. If hotels want to appear in AI search, then they have work to do. So we have this battle of now SEO versus AI discoverability. And if hotels don't start getting into that, then they're going to have a hard time kind of taking back that the baton from OTAs.
I know for sure.
Because you're also able to, you know, to book directly in AI search. So not just so beyond social.
Soon, right? Like for hotel, it's not live yet.
PayPal's plugged in already, apparently.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, this is something that us as an agency, we need to get clued up on. But I know for us, we're focusing more on the AI discoverability piece because we have experience with SEO, and this just feels like a natural transition.
This is massive, yeah. And it will be like the offering that you can give on your website that can be plugged into the AI, and then like a dinner that you can book or a night. It's gonna be massive, yeah. It's coming soon for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, it's happening already. You know, I personally use ChatGPT to create my itinerary along with the lovely Rebecca, who is our VA. But that's amazing that you could say, I'm going to this place for 3 days. I like X, Y, Z. Obviously, you feed your prompts as best as you can, and then it generates with links. So the fact that that is going to become a fully housed piece where you can just book directly, reserve directly, I think those integrations are something that hotels need to look into. So watch this space, because
it's coming soon.
We will be doing a lot to support hoteliers in that space. And I think this is actually a great one because it's really quite quick applications that can can turn the needle essentially. Similarly, when you activate a strong SEO strategy on your website, you see the results quite quickly. So I think that's also the benefit with this, whereas investing in video can be a longer return potentially, but something like this I think is quite immediate.
For sure, yeah, it's a quick win, for sure.
It is a quick win. Low-hanging fruit. Yeah, what else would you say is low-hanging fruit for hotels that you feel is currently a missed opportunity?
I think hotel websites are usually really not optimized. I think everyone, like many people, that's something we keep hearing is they just don't book through the hotel website because sometimes you don't have as many information as a booking has, which doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense. And you don't even have social sign-on.
Yeah.
So we go through websites to test the UX, and what they're asking of you to book is like such a barrier to enter. And sorry to jump over you on that. From my experience in e-commerce, working with e-com brands, because everything is so trackable, we were really taught to make that path to purchase as small and as tight as possible. So having social sign-on reduces that friction to buy, and I don't see hotels being as strong in that area. So not just the information, but how much they ask of you to book. It just makes it too extensive.
Yeah, no, 100%. And the amount of content on websites is also way too low.
In what way?
In a way that when you're on many hotel websites, you're on there, the room, you don't really understand what you're gonna get from it. While in booking, you get like 30 pictures, or you really you have to go on Booking to know what you're gonna get more than the hotel website, which doesn't make sense.
Yeah, and this goes back to what you said about platform hopping, because you're allowing your potential guest, or you're making your potential guest have to create that story because you haven't done a good job. So we jump across all these platforms because we want to see the reality of that space. And even we're surprised when we're looking at rooms that sit in the luxe, ultra luxe category, they might have 3 to 5 photos.
Yeah.
And again, you can't tell the spatial awareness. You don't understand how the spaces connect, where is the bathroom in relationship to the bedroom, or if there's a living room. And then even in the hotel, okay, where is the pool located? Like, what's the size of the resort?
And very few videos. So that's also one of our proposition is video room tour for hotel websites. It's everyone consume videos on social media, so there's no reason that you don't get served that on the website if you want to understand better the sense of the room.
No, absolutely. And I'm really glad that you brought up real estate in our experience, because I almost forget about it, but it really has impacted how we market hotels, because in real estate they do such an amazing job. We have such a rise now of creators for real estate, and they do such a strong job of these clean property tours where you can see the amenities, but you see the space. There's not necessarily somebody guiding you through. And then they'll also do a version where you have a real estate agent that's talking around that property. So for hotels, that can translate into room tours, which we have done a few projects for this. And interestingly, to take that conversation away from web, but also then just to mobile. So we were commissioned to shoot all room types for a few hotels, but just for mobile. So that tells us a lot in how hotels are marketing themselves, that the potential buyer is actually even skipping the website. They just want that information, and they're booking via a WhatsApp conversation with a senior sales agent, which again is just understanding the behavior and then feeding the right assets to respond to the needs.
100%. I think especially in the Middle East, where they really like WhatsApp and they just want it they want it now.
We were so confused by that, right? When we were doing business on that side of the world, that it's all done on WhatsApp, and you're like, no, send me an email, please. Or we were like, well, we have Slack. Do you want to join our Slack channel? Nobody did.
That's not flying.
That didn't fly. So yeah, room tours. I think this is a really interesting one. And the challenge that we faced is hotels and their infrastructure, because they might have a CMS that's globally owned. So then that's a barrier for them creating these assets. But then again, if we kind of skip the website, not that we should, that should very much be a hub for a hotel, then obviously YouTube is an opportunity, or creating 9x16 assets for mobile. So you could support sales agents. And certainly as we've done more and more sales toolkits, it's been really interesting to understand the challenges, the blockers, the pain points, and then what we create to feed that sales toolkit, because we have a lot of sales partners where they just go onto the website, they steal some photos, then they go onto socials. And
there's a marketing team to get the assets that are not then tailored for them. Yeah.
Exactly. And that just shouldn't be the job of, your sales teams. They shouldn't be running around trying to gather assets. So creating these sales toolkits where it is done through the user journey and the full funnel is really helpful.
No, 100%.
To get a little personal, so obviously we are in a relationship and in business, and a lot of people ask us, how do we do it? So what would you say?
How do we
do it? Obviously, we spend a heck of a lot of time with each other. We travel 6 months of the year. But in terms of business, what would you say is like our strength of being a couple in a relationship and doing business?
Our strength?
How do we make it work?
Well, first, we're very complementary in what we do, what we like to do, what we're good at. So that really helps. I think if we were stepping on each other's toe for competing on whatever we need to do, so that's really good. We have separate tasks in what we need to do on a daily basis. And
that probably comes from our backgrounds, right? Because, and we haven't gone into this, but your background is creative. Pretty much the opposite as mine, because you're for the lack of a better word, an unstructured career, whereas mine was very structured and corporate. So even that, in a sense, is quite different.
Oh yeah, couldn't send an email without you.
True. Yeah, so when we started, Tib did not like to send emails, which I think is actually something to talk about and be proud of, because English isn't your native language. But even just, I would call you up on how you closed out an email, or...
I was being too cold, apparently.
You were too cold. You were too cold. But even, things like that is something that I really took for granted. Coming from corporate, you get taught these behaviors, these principles, these practices that you just hadn't ever been exposed to because you were a solo creative.
Yeah, no, 100%. There is so much implicit rules on how to
Good way of putting it.
communicate, how to behave, and so it was very interesting. So you could actually apply that to the business. And
But I think for you, you're a great communicator. So it was just about, I would always say to you, read it out loud.
thank you.
I would always say, read it out loud. Would you say that? And
Yeah.
so that was like your measure of, okay, does this sound like me? Is it too cold? And obviously your English has been getting so much better over the years, thanks to moi.
Yeah, indeed.
My French, not so much.
Now helps a lot to speak English every day.
It does. But to talk more to our experience as well. So I'd say we both have creative backgrounds. I sat more in the corporate side of overseeing creative, more in a strategic way of working with agency partners, of working with agencies like us actually. So I sat as the intermediary between my brands, essentially, across maybe 25 markets at once. And my role was to make sure content was adhering to content best practice, doing joint business plans with Google and Facebook. So I really had that like corporate structure, spending crazy amounts of monopoly millions on these brands and their marketing. And obviously that gives you a lot of insight when it comes to what performs, what works, what doesn't, and content excellence. And then you'd really been in like the nitty gritty of crafting content, having that creative lens. So I guess bringing those two together, it's really been the foundation of our business being successful, I'd say.
100%. Yeah, combining the two to create something, and then now we can like delegate more and have that notion of building an agency properly, on using the people, like working with people.
Yeah, and that's been really exciting, going from us being just two to growing an agency and working with different people and understanding not just where our strengths lie, but where we want to invest our time. So I guess that's a natural transition for most agencies. You do everything and then you learn how to delegate.
Yeah.
And that's also been interesting because you haven't had that corporate structure. So
Which is weird. Yeah,
that's been a bit of a...
not doing the same job anymore. It's really weird.
Yeah,
You're
true.
literally changing position, kind of.
Yeah, you kind of like graduate yourself through the business, don't you? So you've really gone from being like the videographer to leading the business, to diving more into the vision, which I think is like an amazing testament to your evolution in the business, and just just how you see business, because it is very different to be a one-man show or a one-woman show. I also then went from corporate to consulting, which is a business, but it's still just you know? So then us figuring out how we manage a business is, it's been a steep learning curve, hasn't it?
Yeah. Is that a new expression?
You know that one. A steep learning curve.
Learning curve, okay.
Yeah.
I knew that one.
And that's the thing, we always have to break down like what a saying means or where it comes from, and then it always makes me dissect my own language. I think it's quite funny because at one point we thought it was going to be seen to be a bad thing to be in a relationship and running an agency. So we had this time period of pondering, do we act really professional and not tell people we're in a relationship, or do we just see how it plays out? But then what we found was anytime we were on production, they would send over to our teams, how many rooms do you need? And they would think there was a miscalculation because we share a room. And they would reply, no, but we can give, like, we have room capacity. You can have a room each. So then I think we had quite a fun phone call. That was about Badroots, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And on a phone call with way too many people, they reiterated their confusion in our request for rooms.
Yeah, that was funny actually. No.
And
then
relationship. I was like, we are partners in life as well as business. And then everyone's like, oh, okay. Felt a bit awkward, but at least we got it done. But I do feel that is a strength instead of seen to be a negative, you know, because we literally eat, sleep and breathe our business and our brands and who we do it for. And this is not a 9 to 5. I think there's a lot of talk about work-life balance, but if we're realistic, when you own your own business, there is no such thing as work-life balance. You just have to bake your days in a way that makes sense for you. And if you want success, I don't think balance is a word that comes into play, which might be a bit controversial for some, but if I can talk to good old Emma Greed, who says the same kind of thing, and she has 4 kids and business empires, I think there's a bit of a fallacy that you can enjoy balance when you're building something?
No, I mean, it's to everyone to find the right balance for them, right? If they like it, doesn't need to be the same as the typical work-life balance. But if you like what you do on a daily basis, why would you force yourself to do less
Yeah.
in business? So I think this is definitely not, if you want to stop working at 5 and have your weekends, definitely not the right
It's not the right
move.
space for you.
Yeah, but when you like growing something, the feeling of achievement of growing something, it's worth every effort, in my opinion.
No, absolutely. And to stay in the personal route, we obviously travel so much. What would you say are the experiences from this year that have impacted you the most?
From this year, we had a crazy year.
So we did do the calculations. We were out of Spain for 6 months.
Yeah, 6
which
months.
is quite wild. That's a lot of travel. And I checked, and we've done over 60 flights, which is
60 flights. Wow. Don't say that to everyone, though.
we need to find some EMF blankets straight
Yeah.
away. It's too many hours spent on a flight.
I think this year, I got 2 big memories from this year. The first one was in Sri Lanka,
Yeah, me too.
and that place called Santani.
Thank you, Vikram.
Thank you, Vikram. Yeah, it was such an amazing place.
Yeah,
created.
I think that had a really profound impact on both of us, didn't it?
Yeah, it was really incredible, and it was especially, it came in a time of where you really needed it. So that was very good timing, a very impressive resort. And the second one is the Caribbean with Belmond, spending time and production with those 2 properties, La Samana and Bvlgari, was such a special moment.
That was
too.
amazing. Yeah. And they're all 3 of them very different properties. So maybe to speak to like why they had such an impact on us. With Santani, I would say that's an experience we hadn't ever had because we work in luxe and ultra luxe. We're so conditioned to, especially when we're working in places like the UAE, for luxury to mean big, extravagant, almost a bit gluttonous, indulgent, to then go somewhere like Santani where, again, it is 5-star, it is elevated, but it's muted, and they called it the architecture of silence, which I loved and kind of fell in love with. You know, there weren't paintings on the wall, there weren't all these ornaments, and that was built with a different intention than other 5-star properties. And that was amazing for us because it was specifically built for founders, CEOs, you know, high-paced individuals who were either on burnout, want to avoid burnout, or whatever reason, but kind of just living these high-intensity lives. And this was really made to bring that frequency down. So as you said, I personally needed it at that time after having far too an intense schedule and personal stuff. So that was really amazing to experience. And also seeing how traditional longevity therapies and approaches such as Ayurvedic medicine, which I don't even know if the 2 sound like they should go together, because Ayurvedic has been around
on its own,
for thousands of years. But you can then see there's a merging of places where they've been offering these kind of approaches and treatments and ways of looking after your mind, body and soul, that then you have a longevity audience, and they're like, this is great for us, right? Similarly, I think maybe to us, we weren't necessarily looking for somebody that offered Ayurvedic practices.
Yeah.
But we appreciate the benefit of them.
Yeah. I mean, having a consultation with a doctor when you arrive, then that is planning basically how your stay is gonna look like, the diets you're gonna have. So every dish is designed for every guest,
hyper personalized,
and
that
then
feels like luxury.
Yeah, and then no one ever eats the same thing at the same time. It's for me, I love it.
That was amazing. The food was phenomenal.
The food
really
was phenomenal. Yeah, and the activities on yoga, massages, sauna, so all of like that's being created for you. I think that's quite an amazing concept.
I do feel that that is where luxury is going. I mean, I sat in a team that was called Personalized Consumer Experiences when I was at Nestle, and I feel that there is such a movement of hospitality focusing in on what true personalization is, because personalization is not hi Tib, thanks for staying with us. It's knowing your dietary requirements. It's having a menu specially crafted, or having blood work done and then having a whole program created for you. You know, that is personalization. So to be able to do that at such a level, I would also say you have probably some properties in Dubai where they do this and they're focused around wellness, and they go through a load of your biometric scoring to then check what they should be offering you and what that looks like. So I'm definitely excited to try more places that offer that.
No, for sure. There is this Hotel Shah. I really want to work with them and to see like how it's going on.
David, we're waiting for your email. Absolutely. Yeah. A friend of ours is now the general manager, so that's exciting to have those discussions, because again, you just see these properties that are really leading the way, and you hear the stories, and then you realize, okay, there is a bigger job that can be done around the marketing, so more people understand what the full offering is, right?
Yeah, 100%.
To go back to the other properties you were talking about, so, and then the 2 Belmond properties, why was that so big for you?
Experiencing the Belmond way in the Caribbean.
It was actually our first Belmond properties, right?
Yeah, it's hard to beat the atmosphere, the beaches, to be honest. Yes.
And the service at La Semana was really amazing. The people were incredible.
Yeah, great service. Everything is well thought out.
Yeah, and that was amazing because we got the opportunity to deliver 2 grand tours across those properties, and they're very different. You know, one feels more home, intimate, and the other feels much more resort with the different outlets and the longer beach. So that was a great experience for us to be able to deliver to 2 very different properties.
Yeah.
To then, we've kind of looked at what we did this year, looking ahead to share some areas that for Digital Stakes is moving, to give some people some insight into maybe our visions and services that we're bringing forth. I know I can talk to a few that we've felt a need for and that we've been asked for. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Go on.
You're confused. You're like, what's she going to say?
I'm trying to guess the first one you have in mind.
So more and more we're having conversations about, obviously there are mystery shoppers, and mystery shopping can be very much just about the property and coming and doing a review, you know, checking, did you have turn down service, these kind of touch points, and having those markers. And there are obviously companies that go and do those audits, but there is a real lacking of that end-to-end user journey. So from the online to the offline and then the online again. So stepping into a space where we go and mystery shop hotels. So we've had some people that have kind of asked us to do this, so they get a full report, but understanding, you know, okay, what emails were sent, what were your social interactions, how many times did you go onto the website, where did you get lost, what was your drop off, did you get a WhatsApp welcome message, whatever, all of those digital touch points are, to then arriving. So looking at pre-arrival, arrival and post, but then overlaying that with, the communication touch points. So not just doing an assessment of your experience on property, but then, okay, what was your follow-up? Did you have an email on your anniversary inviting you back? Did you get a discount code on your birthday? Were you invited to a spa event or a launch event because you've booked 10 times? So that is something I'm definitely really excited by. And then the other I would say is how we're supporting hotels with their AI discoverability. So maybe you can talk a little bit to that without giving away too much, because we're launching this very soon.
Yeah, so we're gonna support, basically hotels to be discovered with precise like question and keywords on the different AI chats. So Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude. So all of this AI, and then how can you come up and first and be recommended? And so that's something we're really excited about.
Yeah, so we are actually launching a free playbook So we are doing this with partners outside of this playbook. So this has very much come from us being able to apply it in practice. And then our team are creating a 10-step playbook that hoteliers, brands can take themselves, they can apply it, and they can support their ability to get discovered on these channels, which I think is really, really important. So going through an assessment, understanding how your meta descriptions are, how your images are tagged, but making sure everything is written in a way for AI to read. And obviously this is a bit of a pivot because websites were built for Google to be able to read them, and everybody wanted to be scored number one on Google, and now that power play is kind of changing. And then the same with social channels, so I often search by video. So how are your videos then showing up as well, making sure that all of your meta tags, your titles, your descriptions are scoreable in a way that's going to be supported by these channels. So we're very excited for that.
Yeah.
And then next year, we are also launching a full funnel playbook, which is going to be over a couple of days worth of a course. So there'll be more information to come on that. But again, understanding there's an appreciation and an appetite for being clued up and educated in these ways. So as an agency, we want to impart with some of this knowledge to let hotels go out and do it on their own. And of course, if they want our support, we'll happily help.
Really exciting, a lot of things coming.
A lot of things coming. Is there anything else that you would like to add? We've kind of said looking ahead. Or maybe, for anybody listening, what would you say is the one thing that you would want them to take away from this episode? If I can put you on the spot.
I would, once again, it's a bit our mission is focus on the full funnel and then have a real strategy with it, which is all across all of the touch points and the content strategy on how can we make it all coherent and consistent. That would be like the biggest.
Omnichannel, full funnel approach.
Yeah, definitely.
And if you could change one thing about the industry, what would you change?
What would I change? That's a good question.
Might be quite a tough one. I think there'll be a few things I can change. I can answer while you think. I can answer for myself.
I think the industry is very late compared to FMCG industry and brands who really understand the power of tracking and the full funnel and everything. So to be try to get a bit ahead, it's a old school industry for sure.
Yeah. So would it be fair to say there could be an improvement in terms of digital IQ?
Yeah, maturity or IQ.
That digital maturity for sure. Yeah, I would second that.
Because we're speaking about high-end hotel or luxury hotels. Now when you go to lower hotels, it's like the 3-star or the 4-star, the 3-star do even a less of a good job in that domain. So
yeah, and I do understand there is a balance between on-site operations and digital. So there are some properties where they have to choose where to put their investments, but so much of this can be a knowledge piece and raising the digital IQ. So again, we as an agency work with hotel partners, and we do position ourselves as working with luxury and ultra lux, but we would also support 3-star, 4-star as we have done, to carry out workshops where you help to increase the digital IQ, to create measurement frameworks. If they cannot afford videographers or creators, creating rules of best practice for crafting content, your messaging being right at the start, having one proposition, one objective, expecting one outcome, all of these pieces. So that digital IQ is something we're very passionate about.
For sure.
And I have a little quick fire round to ask some questions just to be lighthearted.
Tell me.
And for people that, care for Tib's opinion on these things, which is going to be everyone. So, your favorite hotel in the world. You don't necessarily have to have visited it, just your favorite hotel.
I think Gleneagles.
Yeah, okay. Which we did visit, and that was amazing. One destination everybody should visit once.
As a city?
You can say it how you like. As a city, if you like, Barcelona.
Spain.
I knew you were going to say that. So if you haven't, you absolutely have to. Yeah, that's a fair comment because as much as we travel, we still come back to Barcelona, and it might not be the place for luxury hospitality, but it is an incredible destination.
Spain in general, there is just so many cities we could live in Spain. I think there's so many quality cities. Sevilla, Madrid, Barcelona,
And you've lived
Valencia.
in all of them.
I've tried a good few of them, and then the island, Ibiza and Mallorca, Menorca, Canary Island.
It's crazy to think they're all Spain, you know, and because they're all so different. So good answer. What is your favorite travel ritual when you check in, if you have one? Which I'm intrigued to know what you say because I don't know if you do.
Carrot juice in the morning and gym and sauna.
Yeah, for any hotel that serves Tib breakfast and he's always asking for a carrot juice, do you want to share with the group why you drink carrot juice?
She's good vitamin, Holly.
And it gives him a tan. It actually does give him a tan. Coffee or cocktail at the bar?
I'm becoming more of a coffee drinker.
And I try and persuade him to have a cocktail.
Yeah.
Best room feature you've ever seen?
Room feature. I think it would be the landscape.
No, but like a room feature, like you know, the 8 sleep, the mattress that stays to your body temperature or cool enough to and adapts to help you have the best night's sleep of your life. For me, it's just an off button where all of the lights turn off at once because every property we stay in, we struggle with lights at night. There's always like a light that's under a bed that we can't figure out where that is, or
it is painful.
That basic features.
Yeah.
And I do like using an iPad to control everything in the room as well. That's quite nice.
That is quite nice too. I would say there's not so many.
I'm just answering your questions for myself.
Yeah, literally.
Welcome to our life.
No space to talk.
Okay, well, Tib doesn't have a room feature. So, a hotel GM everyone should follow. To be honest, Tib is prolific in his LinkedIn posting. So if anybody doesn't follow Tib yet, you should on LinkedIn. So we're both more interactive and active, on our LinkedIn, but you are the king of lists and you shine such a spotlight on general managers, on hotels that you must visit, on the best destinations. So maybe I skip that one and tell people to go check out his list.
Exactly, I've created a list for that.
He did. The hardest part about running our agency?
To keep going through the motion when you don't have good news.
True.
Good news, you cannot, your energy cannot rely on good news.
That spike of dopamine.
Yeah. So discipline every day, whatever happens.
And I do think that's a value of being in a business partnership where it's male and female because we do operate differently. You know, I think there's lots of talk about this in the space of how women, obviously, we have a different cycle to men. You guys are just constant. And we do certainly see that with the energies that we're both able to give. So I'm very grateful for your constant.
Thank you.
The best part about working in travel and hospitality?
The lifestyle.
Yeah.
Traveling, discovering the best places in the world.
Your go-to digital tool or app?
In what sense?
Any sense. I'm really surprised that you haven't come up with the answer right now.
I would have said Whoop.
Yeah, which is currently charging and not on your wrist.
But not for business, right? It's
no,
more
but
like
just
for,
in general. I think because that you do use it for business in a sense that you check you're sleeping well, you check you're healthy, you check your
fitness.
recoverability, your fitness, your VO2 max.
Exactly. So Whoop, definitely.
You can share your referral tag. Okay, and then finish this sentence. The future of hospitality is?
Community.
Ooh, that was very quick.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting that word from you.
For sure. I think we notice that everybody is looking for community nowadays, whether it's a social wellness club or like there's just, it's around there.
No, I like it. And is there anything that you want to share that we haven't discussed or touched on?
And I think we covered quite a lot, huh? There's gonna be a part two to this podcast, so let's keep some
talking
for the next one.
For sure. Well, thank you for being my 10th.
My pleasure.
Last, but best till last kind of thing. So
Exactly. Finally, I got a chance.
I know we got to talk, and I lost my nerves, so that was good. So thank you so much for joining me, and for anybody that wants to follow you, we'll share your LinkedIn. And until next time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.